underdogs to favorites, we break it down. MT Field Podcast, the talk of the town. MT Field, where we lay it all out. Breaking down games, removing all doubt. Interviews with stars, we're bringing the heat. Sports news and odds talk that can't be beat.
Welcome to another episode of the MT Field Podcast. My name is Matthew Hansen, and today I have a fighter out of American Top Team Sandy Springs in Atlanta, Georgia. It is Cassandra Eng. Cassandra, how
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. First off, tell us about yourself.
So I am a new fighter. I started my fight journey about 2 years ago with Muay Thai, and I've started competing about a year now. And then I've also competed a few times in Jiu-Jitsu. And so I'm new to the game, but definitely excited to be here.
What got you started into learning both Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, so I originally started martial arts in general with Chinese Kung Fu, and then I got introduced to Chinese kickboxing, also known as Sanda. And then I just fell in love with the violence of it and punching things and people. So I decided to start doing Muay Thai because there's more fight opportunities. And so I switched gyms. And then I started Jiu-Jitsu about a year after I started just because I learned so much about the benefits of self-defense for women. And it was something that I was not naturally talented at all. So I was like, I need to get better at this. So I started doing jujitsu as well.
Cool. Um, when did it stop going from just training to actually like competing?
Yeah, so I would say about a few months after I started training, I have some amazing coaches, and I think all of them started to encourage me to consider the actual competitive side of it. And I got in a few smokers, and I just loved it. And so it was really, my teammates and my coaches who pushed me to have those as goals. And then, yeah, I just started doing that about a year ago.
Cool. What was life like before fighting?
I would say that I definitely had a lot more free time. I would definitely, you know, get in a lot of trouble. I would just be doing shenanigans and, just being having fun, honestly. But now I feel like now that I have these really intentional goals, I'm still having fun on the mats, and it's just a different type of like where my energy is going. Yeah.
Okay. Walk us back to your first fight. What was going through your head?
I was definitely nervous. I feel like for me, the scariest part is when the bell rings and you don't know, like, are we tapping gloves? Like, it's just like that moment of a little bit of awkwardness. So I think I was very, very nervous for that for sure. But I was just so excited. And I feel like people always say that, like, oh, fighters are serious. You have to have your game face on. I think I was just smiling. I was just happy to be um, I was just happy to be there really, and, I feel like that's something I want to continue in my fight career is just to always make sure I'm having fun, and doing what I love to do.
Cool. How would you describe your fight style to somebody who's never seen you fight before?
I feel like I'm developing my fight style. I don't feel like I've really found it yet. But I feel like I have a lot of good coaches who guide me in what to do. Really, I just recently I've just been trying to explore different fight styles mostly, but I don't think I have one yet.
Okay. Okay. Now, what part of your game are you most confident in right now?
Mm. Definitely my striking. Jiu-jitsu is a little bit newer to my journey, so I would definitely say I'm much more comfortable in my stand-up game, and yeah.
Okay. Now, some self reflection here. What are you working on the most?
In martial arts in general or in my, or,
Everything.
like,
And
fight
everything.
specific?
Hmm.
Mm. I would say the mental aspect of it for sure. I think that that is probably the most important part of fighting, and training and making sure you're disciplined and everything. So I think a lot of energy and time into meditation into having that translate it over into when I'm actually in the cage and being able to remain calm. So that's definitely something that I've been more intentional about recently.
Okay. What's the toughest lesson combat sports have taught you so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. The toughest lesson, I would say sometimes it's hard to sometimes it's easy to get discouraged, right? Like if you have a bad sparring day or you get beat up or you lose a fight, right? But one of my teammates actually said something that has resonated with me, and it's the 33 rule that 33% of the time you're going to feel amazing in training, 33% it's just going to be an average day, and 33% of the time you're going to suck. And that's just part of the journey, right? So those days that you are getting beat up in training or that, nothing's landing, nothing's going your way, those are actually just as important as the days that you are thriving. And so really taking that into account when you're training so you don't get discouraged because it's all part of the plan.
Stop. Before we continue this episode here, are you staying hydrated? No, no, no. Have you tried Hydrofy? Man, it's not just flavored water. It's clean hydration with electrolytes that actually work. No sugar crash, no junk ingredients. Pretty simple. Hydrofy keeps you sharp and fueled for the day. I use it because, man, it's simple, effective, and it just tastes real good. Hydrate smarter, hydrate better. That's Hydrofy. Use promo code MTF to get 10% off your order. Just say, hey, Matt from the Empty Field Podcast sent you.
Okay. Talking about the plan, how do you plan yourself mentally going into a fight?
Like I mentioned, I meditate a lot. One of my coaches actually guides me through meditations. She's the one who introduced me to meditation, so that has been extremely powerful. But yeah, just really centering my every fight that I have. I usually write down, some small detailed stuff that I want to make sure I do in a fight, whether that's, remain calm, land a certain kick, something like that. And then I'll have overarching goals like yeah, have fun. That's always on my list. So yeah.
Okay. How do you handle fear or nerves before stepping in the ring or cage?
Um I do my best to try to stay calm, but I think that's part of the game. I think that if you're not nervous going into fight, I think that's not a great sign, honestly. I think you should be nervous going into a fight and have a little bit of those anxieties. And, as long as they don't overshadow your confidence and, knowing that you're there to handle business.
Yeah. What separates you from other women that you're fighting?
Mm. I would say that I am extremely disciplined in my training and in my mindset. I will also say that I have an incredible team behind me. Some of the best fighters are at my gym. We have incredible, incredible coaches as well. So I think that having that community that really supports me definitely is something that I have an advantage with.
Okay. How do you deal with criticism?
Mm. I think I think that this is a loaded question because when it comes to my personal experience in the fight community, a lot of times you're gonna have so many people try to tell you advice, things that are recommendations or everything, right? And it can be overwhelming. Um, and I've learned that there are certain people that you should listen to who have the credentials, who, have that relationship, that trust building, like my coaches and my teammates and stuff. But you can't listen to everyone, or else you're going to lose your own voice and your own thoughts in that process. So I think the top thing for me is making sure I have a good understanding of my intuition and a sense of who I am and my goals as a fighter, and then also knowing who to trust when it comes to taking advice, so that I'm, more efficient and don't just listen to all these voices because sometimes it could not be helpful, if that makes sense.
Okay. Take us back to that last fight. I think was it the one that you lost? Was that last one?
Yes, yes.
Walk us through that day.
So that was the first time I had fought a sanctioned fight. It was a tournament with the NFC, which is the biggest organization in and promotion in Georgia. And I had won my first match, and then the next one in the tournament was against a more advanced opponent, and I went in there knowing that, but I also knew that I was confident in my skills. And honestly, it was something that I was the most proud of, as far as, fights go, because even though I didn't come out with a win, I definitely impressed myself and my coaches as far as, my capabilities and sticking in there, when, I, like, was down the first round, and coming back the third round. So, that is definitely something I'm really proud of, and it honestly exposed so many things in my game that I want to improve on. So if anything, it was an amazing lesson learned, and I've improved my game since.
Perfect. Now let's fast forward for March. What are
Mhm.
you looking forward to the most in that fight?
Yeah, so I fight March 7th. And I think I'm most excited to try to be well, this is my goal. Sometimes our plans don't always work out, but I want to show that I'm a technical fighter, that I am skilled and that I'm not just a brawler. So that's definitely something that I'm very excited about. And then also a lot of things that I've fixed from my last fight, as I mentioned. So very, very excited to show what I've been working on.
Is there anything you want to say to Erica before your fight?
Best of luck.
Oh, no trash talk?
No trash talk. I mean, that's not my vibe. I'm not someone that really does that. If anything, I'm too smiley and too friendly. Um, but I mean, as women in this sport, there's not that many of us, and I just have the utmost respect for any woman that gets in a cage. So, props to her and best of luck.
Okay, cool. All right. Now it's time for the rapid fire. First thing that comes to your mind. Muay Thai
Gotcha.
or Jiu-Jitsu?
Muay Thai.
Okay. Would you rather do a striking war or look for the submission?
Striking.
Are you more aggressive or patient while in the cage?
Aggressive.
Favorite part about camp?
Um, when I make weight.
What's the hardest part about camp?
Making weight.
um, would you rather um do a first round finish or a late round war?
First round finish.
Why is that?
That's just something that I feel like aligns a little bit more with my aggression and, some of my goals. But that was definitely a close one because I do want to exhibit my skills in all three rounds.
Okay. One word to describe you as a fighter.
Um, it's two words, but I'm gonna make it one. Big dog.
Okay. And then one word to describe you.
Hmm. Phoenix.
Okay. Is there anybody you want to give a special shout out to?
Yes, definitely. All my coaches back at ATT. So I have Coach Tubbs, Coach Brandy, Coach Mo, Coach Daniel, Coach John, Coach Akeem, all of them. They've just been so amazing for my growth at ATT. And I'm just so grateful for all of their guidance and all my teammates.
Okay. Where can everybody find you on social media?
On Instagram and on TikTok, but primarily Instagram, Combat Cass. So it's combat underscore Cass.
Perfect. Well, Cassandra, I appreciate you stopping by, telling us about you, about your story, how you started in Muay Thai, and then lean over more to Jiu-Jitsu. So I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Fans of One T Media Production, do you guys drink coffee? Sure you do. I, myself, drink quite a bit of coffee, so I always turn to a Fuera coffee for my go-to. It's smooth, it's bold, it's not too heavy. Perfect for that early morning or when you just need to lock in for the day. The best part is, at every purchase, 5% goes back to the great outdoors. Get a bag like this. I get two myself. Use promo code MTF and you get 15% off your order. Guys, What's not to love about coffee, free money, and deliciousness? A Fuetta coffee.
Yeah, MT Field, where the action's real. Sports news and odds, that's our deal. From underdogs to favorites, we break it down. MT Field Podcast.